The video you are about to watch was recorded live on stream, so if there are any cuts where I seem to just go off topic, I could be responding to someone in chat, and I am sorry that you can't see chat from this stream menu. I can't find a place to fit it with my current setup. So if you have any ideas about that, please leave them in the comments down below. But with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So first thing I'm going to talk about for Pokemon Day is going to be Gen 2 remakes or Gen 5 remakes. For Gen 2, okay, I guess the thing is a Let's Go Johto game is being thought of, which I think would make the most sense as a Gen 2 remake, because the other option is Legend Celebi, which I just don't see them doing a Legend Celebi because you'd have such a small Pokedex in the Legends game. That was the whole point. Like, go catch Pokemon. Well, now your Pokedex is like cut in half. Let's Go Johto, but if they do it, I want to see the roaming beast, Raikou, Entei, Suicune. I need to be able to see them in the wild, infinitely encounterable, just like the legendary birds in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. If they do not have that, I will be very upset. And as far as Gen 5 goes, I don't know. I feel like that's a lot to put, Gen 5 are considered to be the best games by some. I think Gen 5 has the best art style. I like it because it's still pixel art, but I think the pixel art was handled really well. The animations were nice. And I think it's too soon for a Gen 5 remake. I think it's too soon. Yes, I am Gen 5 Pokemon, despite it being the first Pokemon game I played, I cannot Gen 5 Pokemon. I don't know. They're the hardest for me to remember out of everything. Gen 5 is just I don't know why, cuz again, I played the Gen 5 games a lot, but they are very hard to remember. I think it's just too soon. Maybe, okay, what I would like, though, is a Gen 5 Legends game, as opposed to just a remake. I think a Gen 5 Legends game would be really good, because then you pretty much have a built-in bigger Pokedex. That is the one thing I wish there was more of in Legends Arceus. There was a very small Pokedex. Hello. There was a super. I feel like 400 isn't a small Pokedex, but it's not big. Gen 5 would add a lot more, and it would make the Gen 5 Mythicals very accessible. And that is the worst part of Gen 5. They've distributed the Gen 5 Mythicals a little bit better now, but with Gen 5 they introduced they introduced a couple Mythicals. I think actually, can you get most of them now? I'm good. How are you? Can you get Mythicals now? Or can you get all of them? Victini you can't get for sure. Genesect you can get through Pokemon Go when it's in raids. Oh yeah, I like that idea. Then we're not looking for a Legends game, though, because they shiny locked all of the legendaries. So we can't hope for a Legends game for Gen 5 then. Legends game in Gen 5 would not give us our shiny Victini. Okay, the next thing I guess is Gen 10, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't know why people are speculating it. We just got Scarlet and Violet 2 years ago. And honestly, I have played Pokemon Quest before. Yes. Honestly, I assuming that the Switch 2 comes out next year, or this year, late this year, I think Let's Go Johto would make the most sense to come out, because that was the first Pokemon game on the Switch. Quest, yeah. Quest is good. I think Quest was the first game on the Switch, so you want to play that game. That's cool. So I think we'll probably see Johto. Let's Go Johto because there's probably gonna be a new console, and it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, it can't play on the next console exclusively, because it hasn't been announced yet, unless they throw in a curveball and we get the Switch 2 announcement on Pokemon Day. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I'm very confident that that is not going to happen. But I think Let's Go Johto is probably the most probable out of everything, because if we had a Johto, like Legend Celebi, I think the Pokedex cut, unless they gave us access to newer Pokemon, I think the Pokedex cut would be pretty bad. Although I think in Arceus they went over Gen 4. So okay, maybe not. Maybe Legends Celebi would be good. Or maybe they do something like they did with BDSP, where they have Legends Johto and Let's Go Johto. I could see them doing that. Another thing that was being talked about was the Mystery Dungeon games. I do not think that that the Mystery Dungeon games would, well, okay, there's a chance, because I think there was a leak last year. Or it was on their website or something. I don't expect it at all, though. If people want Explorers of the Sky, but, okay, you know what? No. Okay, I changed my mind. Maybe a Mystery Dungeon game would be good, because that's not a main series game, and it would, if that was all they released, like big game-wise, that would be fine. That would be 100% fine with me, because that's giving them more time to work on the games that most people care about. And I guess that brings us to another good point, updating Pokemon Quest. I feel like there's a dragon item. China got a huge update. Like, they have a ton. I think they have like Gen 4 in Pokemon Quest now. It's not Quest, it's like something else. But I would love to see them update Pokemon Quest. I think that would be a nice thing just to hold people over until something else came. And that may be like their weird mobile game announcement. Okay. That may be a weird, like, there we go. There's our one curveball. Now, biggest thing I am hoping for, at least, because I'm currently in the middle of trying to collect all these games. Gen 1, 2, and 3 games coming to Switch. And this is a pretty big topic, because I don't want to see them release on the, like, Game Boy, and yeah, it should definitely add Gen 2 in Pokemon Quest. For Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance, I do not want to see them released on the Switch emulators, because I don't want to have to pay for them, and I don't want them to be gone when they shut down the Switch Online, like, service in general, I guess. I would love to see, like, a Pokemon collection, like, make 2 of them, where you get, or 3. I think 3 would work nicely. You get, like, for $30, you get red, gold. Actually, that doesn't really work that well. Let me just finish through with what I'm saying, I guess. Red, gold, sapphire, and fire red. Fire red. And then on the second one, you have the opposites of those. And then your third copy is the third version of everyone. And make them like $30. That way people can keep them forever, and they could connect to home, because I don't think if we got them in the Switch Online emulators, I don't think they would be able to connect to home. Although, okay, with Gen 3, like, I want them to do Gen 3 right. I think it's going to be really hard to do Gen 3 Virtual Console right, because you have the connection to the GameCube games. I don't think we're going to see those to Switch. They could be ported, though. I mean, there's a chance. If they port Gen 3, they might port um, Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness. They could port those. I think that would be really cool. I don't think that's going to happen. But you lose some Pokemon from the 3rd gen games through that. What I would also love to see is, something that wouldn't be kept unless they just made it all available is the e-reader cards. Like for the rare berries in Sapphire, those would be gone. All the special trainers, those would be gone. I think it would be really cool if they added those. And if you also got the Eon ticket after beating the game, and in Emerald, if you got the old C map, or I think that's what you call it. I think that's what it's called, the old C map. So that way you had a way to legitimately shiny hunt Mew. I think that would be the best way to port the games over. And I think if they do put Gen 3 on the Switch and they don't add Mew in Emerald, I think people are going to be really upset. Because I think that's the biggest thing about porting Gen 3 to the Switch. Like, we want a way to shiny hunt Mew. And with Gen 2, I don't think this is feasible, but this would be incredible if for Gen 2, Gen 1 and 2, if they had like a link cable for the Switch, right? USB-C to Game Boy Advance link cable. Or not Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color link cable. I think Game Boy and Game Boy Color have the same link cable, but it doesn't really matter. So you have Switch to Game Boy Color. I don't think they would do this, but with this link cable, let's say you could trade between the Gen 2 games. And I think that would be amazing, because then you could have Pokemon from original cartridges into modern games, which would make playing the Gen 2 games and shiny hunting in them really much more worth your time. And I don't think they would do that. I don't know that it makes sense for them to do, but that would be incredible. And I think selling those, they could make a lot of money from people who want to be able to transfer Pokemon from 1 to 9 all the way up. Oh, one more thing. I think we're going to see some kind of announcement about Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Poke Transporter. Just because with the online service shutting down, I think they're going to have some kind of announcement. And I haven't seen many people mention this. They're going to have some kind of announcement. I'm hoping there's some way for them to update it so it stores locally. Like, if you can locally store the Pokemon from Pokemon Bank, it would kind of defeat the purpose of Pokemon Bank in the beginning. But if they could update it so it stores on your 3DS all the Pokemon that you can transfer over, that would make it so Pokemon Bank can't be shut down. Oh, wow. Shiny something. Right as I'm finishing up. Is this the right one? Yeah. Okay, we have a new recent shiny. If I can catch this. What was I going to say? I think it would be cool. Well, so it's not shutting down before April, right? Pokemon Bank is going to stay open past April, but we don't have a date of when it, like... Yeah, well, yeah. It's better than the Undoos, you have to say. The shiny is better, kind of. Bank is going to stay open, but we don't know how much longer, and I don't like that. They said, oh, make sure to transfer your Pokemon. I don't like that. I'd rather... Because then you lose out so many generations of Pokemon games if they shut down Bank. Like, they're just inaccessible. So with that, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Oh, no, there's one more thing. One more thing. I predict that if we're not getting one of these big games, another Scarlet Violet DLC. I do not like that empty, blocked off part of the top map. I think we have room for like one more DLC in Scarlet Violet. I think they could do that. I don't know that's the top prediction, but I think it's possible. And I think finally with that, those are my predictions and thoughts about Pokemon Day 2023. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, feel free to click the link on screen to see another one of my videos.